Hi, it's Mark Donegan with the Marketing Execution Podcast. A lot of companies assume lightning strikes are about visibility, like the big launch and the big moment, but that's not what makes them powerful. The strongest lightning strikes work at a cognitive level. They use anchoring and collective belief to reshape how a market defines the problem long before competitors can respond. I've led marketing teams through multiple category launches, and I've watched some sparks disappear while others turn into movements. The difference isn't budget or hype, it's execution. In this episode, we break down how to design and execute lightning strikes that actually move markets.
Tune in, listen up, it's marketing time. Bright ideas sparking, blowing your mind. From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Mark, you know how we always talk about product launches and marketing campaigns as separate things? I stumbled across this framework that basically says we've been thinking about it all wrong.
Okay, you've got my attention. What's the angle here?
So it's this idea of a lightning strike, not just a launch, not just an event, but this concentrated bolt of energy that's designed to change how people think. And apparently, the best companies have been doing this for decades.
Oh, I love this. Yeah, I've seen this play out so many times. Companies are orchestrating these moments that are basically unavoidable for the target audience. And here's the thing most founders miss. A lightning strike is not a product launch dressed up in fancy clothes.
Wait, break that down for me, because I think a lot of people would hear lightning strike and think, okay, big launch event, right?
Right, and that's the trap. A product launch says, hey, look at our new thing and why it's better than the old thing. A lightning strike says, let me show you a problem you didn't even know you had, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The solution becomes obvious.
So you're leading with the problem.
Exactly. He who best frames the problem is best positioned to solve it. Think about Uber for a second. Did you ever see an ad from them saying, better taxi, nicer car, faster pickup? No. They just kept hammering on how broken the taxi system was. The protests, the regulatory fights, every headline was basically problem evangelism, and people naturally assumed Uber was the answer.
That's actually kind of brilliant. You're making the market demand a solution before you even pitch one.
And this is where it gets really practical for founders. There are 3 dials you can turn when you're designing one of these strikes: product, company, and category. Most startups crank the product dial to 11 and ignore everything else. But the magic happens when you lead with category, which is really just a fancy way of saying lead with the problem.
Okay, so give me an example. How does this actually work in practice?
So I heard about this company. They were doing enterprise software, pretty technical stuff. And they noticed there was this huge industry conversation happening around software controlling more and more of our daily lives. Cars, medical devices, you name it. So they designed a strike around that theme. And then a story breaks about a Toyota Prius having potential software issues with its brakes.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Suddenly, they're the perfect company to comment on live television about the implications. They'd already positioned themselves as the experts on software integrity. The strike set them up to hijack a news cycle they couldn't have predicted.
So the strike created this readiness to capitalize on trends.
That's it. And here's something we talk about on the Marketing Execution Podcast all the time. You need a strike leader. One person who owns this thing. Usually it's the head of marketing or product marketing, someone who can work across the entire company and fight against the status quo.
Why is that role so critical?
Because gravity is real in organizations. People naturally want to go back to what they know. The sales team wants to pitch features because that's comfortable. The product team wants to talk about specs. Without someone holding everyone accountable to the strike goals, you just drift back to peanut butter marketing, where you're spreading yourself thin trying to reach everyone.
Peanut butter marketing. I love that. So how do you avoid that trap?
Specificity. Ruthless specificity. You pick your targets and you design everything around moving those people from their old way of thinking to your new way. We call these FROTOs, from and to statements. Like literally write down what you want someone to believe before they encounter your strike and what you want them to believe after.
And you're saying most companies skipped a step?
They skip it or they water it down. They say things like, we want to reach decision makers in enterprise companies. That's not a target, that's a category. A real target is, we want the VP of IT at Fortune 500 healthcare companies who currently believes their legacy systems are good enough, and we want them to believe they're sitting on a ticking time bomb.
That's so much more actionable.
And here's the thing about timing. Give yourself enough time to do it right, but not enough time to change your mind. 5 to 6 months is usually the sweet spot for a first strike. People always think that's too long at first, then they realize how much work it actually takes, and suddenly it feels too short.
Classic founder optimism.
Every time. But the deadline is your friend. It forces decisions. It makes the strike the bad guy when someone wants to throw in another cool idea at the last minute. You can say, look, I love that, but the venue is booked and the media buys are locked. Let's save it for the next one.
So you're using the container to enforce discipline.
Exactly. And you set a point of no return date. After that, no new projects, no scope changes. Everyone is just executing. It's like a code freeze for your marketing.
Mark, that's fascinating. Let's pivot for a second and talk about what happens after the strike lands, because I'm guessing most companies drop the ball on the follow-through.
You know what, Tim? You just hit on something that separates the companies that win from the ones that fade into the background noise. The strike itself is just a beginning. It's like, okay, imagine you throw this incredible party, right? Everyone shows up, the energy's electric, people are buzzing about your message. And then Monday morning comes and cricket.
So the follow-through is where most companies blow it.
Exactly. And here's why this matters so much. Remember those cognitive biases we talked about? The anchoring effect, the groupthink, all of that? Those don't just flip on like a light switch. They need reinforcement. They need constant care and feeding, or gravity pulls everyone right back to where they started.
Okay, so walk me through what that actually looks like in practice. What should founders be doing a week after a strike land?
So the first thing is you need to have your measurement systems in place before the strike happens. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen teams scramble after the fact trying to figure out if it worked. Your board is going to ask one question, guaranteed. How did this contribute to revenue or product adoption? If you can't answer that with data, you've already lost credibility for the next one.
That's such a rookie mistake, though. You'd think people would know to track results.
You'd think, but here's the thing. Strikes are exhausting. Everyone is so focused on execution that measurement becomes an afterthought. I know of a company that ran this beautiful category launch, packed room, standing ovation, press coverage everywhere. And then their CEO walks into the board meeting and someone asks about pipeline impact and he just froze.
Oh, no.
Oh yes, he had nothing. No attribution model, no lead tracking tied to the event, nothing. And suddenly this huge win felt like a failure in the eyes of the people writing the checks.
So what's the fix there? What should teams be tracking?
Look, it depends on your goals, but at a minimum, you want to watch for a language change. That's actually the best proof your message is landing. Are your targets starting to describe the problem using your words? Are journalists picking up your terminology? Are prospects coming into sales calls already educated on the category?
Wait, hang on. Language change. That's fascinating. So you're basically listening for echoes of your own POV coming back to you.
That's it. And this takes time. We tell people to give themselves a real window for evaluation. Don't expect overnight results. Categories form gradually. You might hear about a tech trend in the news for years before it actually changes how people live and work.
So patience is part of the strategy.
Massive part, because the strike isn't just about moving external targets. Some of the most powerful shifts happen inside your own company. I know the healthcare tech company that ran their first lightning strike at an annual conference. They were laser focused on launching to an external audience. But what surprised them was how much it changed their existing customers.
Their existing customers. How so?
People stood up at that event and said they were proud to be customers after seeing how dedicated the team was to the category vision. Not just the product, the mission. That's when you know you've created something bigger than a feature list.
That's actually really powerful. You're creating believers, not just buyers.
And believers don't churn. Believers refer their friends. Believers defend you when competitors come knocking. This is the long game of category design. You're not just selling software or services. You're enrolling people in a movement.
Though the strike is really just the spark that starts a much longer fire.
Exactly. And the companies that understand this build what we call strike ops into their DNA. It becomes a continuous cycle of planning, mobilizing, executing, measuring, and then doing it all over again. Each strike sets up the next one. Your competitors are left thrashing around trying to chase your work while you're already 3 moves ahead.
I love that. Okay, Mark, this is incredible context on why the follow-through matters so much. But I'm guessing our listeners are sitting there thinking, okay, great, but what do I actually do on Monday morning? Let's get into the tactical playbook for making this real.
All right, Tim, you're absolutely right. Let's stop talking theory and get into the actual playbook, because the best category strategy in the world means nothing if you can't execute it.
Yes, this is what everyone's been waiting for. Give us the goods, Mark.
Okay, so first thing, before you do anything else, you need a strike leader. One person who owns this. One human being who wakes up every day thinking about how to make this strike happen.
So like a product launch owner, but for the category?
Exactly. And this person needs to be tight with the CEO. They need the authority to push back on shiny object syndrome when someone walks in with a cool new idea 3 weeks before launch.
I have seen that movie before.
We all have. So here's the tactical move. Make the strike the bad guy. Once you've booked the venue, bought the media, locked the date, that deadline becomes your best friend. You can say, look, I love that idea, but the strike is in 6 weeks. Let's put it in the next one.
That's smart. Use the container to force the trade-offs.
Right. Now, second thing, you need to set what we call a point of no return. This is the date where no new inputs are accepted, period. Think of it like a code freeze for engineers. After that date, everyone is heads down on execution, quality, and delivery.
Wait, so you're basically saying plan backwards from the strike date?
That's it. And you know what? Most first strikes take 5 to 6 months to pull off properly. People always think that's too long at first, then they get into it and realize it's barely enough time.
Okay, so we've got our leader, we've got our timeline. What about the actual content of the strike?
So this is where the priority system comes in. We use P0, P1, P2. P0s are absolute must-haves, non-negotiable. If a P0 is at risk, you drop everything until it's fixed. P1s are nice-to-haves. P2s are stretch goal.
And if something's slipping, you sacrifice the P2s first.
Exactly. And here's the golden rule. You cannot trade off a P0 for a P1. Some of the best strikes I've seen had only 3 or 4 P0s. A short list of high-quality programs will always beat a long list of shallow ones.
That's counterintuitive, though. Most people want to do everything.
And that's why most strikes fail. Think about Miro for a second. When they were building momentum, they didn't try to be everything to everyone. They focused on one use case, collaborative brainstorming for distributed teams. That's it. They owned that problem so completely that marketing teams started evangelizing the product for them.
So the viral loop came from focus, not from features.
Bingo. Now let me give you one more tactical framework. When you're planning your strike, think about 3 dials: product, company, and category. You can turn each one up or down depending on what you're trying to accomplish, like a mixing board. Perfect analogy. For your first strike, crank the category dial all the way up. Lead with the problem. He or she who best frames the problem is best positioned to solve it. If you can articulate a pain that people didn't even know they had, they'll assume you have the answer.
Though the product stuff comes later.
It can be woven in, but it's always in context of the category. Think about how Salesforce did their early strikes. They didn't lead with CRM features. They led with the problem of on-premise software. The no software campaign was about the pain, not the product.
And once people bought into the problem, the solution was obvious.
Right. Now here's one more practical tip. Write down one sentence that defines the pain you solve. Just one. If you can't do it, your messaging is too complicated. That single sentence becomes the anchor for everything else. Your website, your sales deck, your press releases, everything flows from that one clear articulation of the problem.
I love that. Okay, Mark, we've covered a ton of ground today, not just in this section, but across our whole conversation. Can you pull it all together for us? What are the key takeaways our listeners should walk away with?
All right, let me bring this all together. We started by talking about what a lightning strike actually is. It's not a product launch dressed up in fancy clothes. It's a concentrated moment designed to change how people think about a problem. You lead with the problem, not the product. Then we talked about what happens after the strike lands. The follow-through is where most companies blow it. You need measurement systems in place before you launch. You need to listen for language change, which is proof your message is landing. And remember, some of the most powerful shifts happen inside your own company. You are creating believers, not just buyers.
Mark, after everything we've covered today, what's the one thing you really hope people don't forget when they walk away from this episode?
Your competitors are fighting over features. You should be fighting over the problem. Own the problem and the market will hand you the solution. That's the game. Now go play it. The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the marketing execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.